All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Crowded Booth. Bryce Koon alongside with a guy that I got the first chance to see while the talk about him. They had the freak of nature, all these different attributes. It's Jason Poe, offensive lineman over at Mercer, was previously at Lenore Ryan. Now he's getting ready for the NFL. Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Well, listen, let's talk a little bit because I remember it was the game against Point, your first game at Mercer, your first game in Macon. You're a Georgia native from Fitzgerald. What was it like to kind of come back home? I know you played up at Lenore Ryan under Coach Cronick. You get that opportunity, Division II. But what was it like to come back home and play?
It was a different feeling, man. It was very good. Coming back from home, it's like an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes away from home. So family get to come down, watch the games, and pack the
Mhm.
stadium. So it was a great environment and feeling coming back home to play.
You did an interview, I think, with NFL Draft Diamonds last year, kind of talking about what you were excited for, the transition to Mercer, and that it's over. And I know it's a little bit bittersweet. College career's over. You're getting ready. When you look back on that decision, can you look back and say, man, that was the best decision for me in my development to go to the next level?
Yes, sir. It was. I know I like the D2. The reason saying that I came from D2 trying to make it out, but
Hmm.
it was the best decision coming to Mercer and playing for Coach Cronin because I played against Alabama, had a great game, had a great season, had a chance to win a conference championship versus ETSU. So all of those things and memories, man, it was good how it unfolded.
And specifically going back to Lenore Ryan. So you may not know this, but when you were at Lenore Ryan, I was down at Valdosta State. And you guys know that Valdosta State has a pretty good program, Division II. You guys played against them. So I always tell people, I say, listen, the fine line between competition at the Division II and Division I level, it's microscopic. It might be a little size here, a little size there, maybe a step or two. What was your experience at Lenore Ryan playing some top level competition? I mean, especially in the Southeast, you have the SAC, which you were in, obviously different conferences across the Southeast, Gulf South, but you have Valdosta State, West Florida, all these programs. They're good ones, and I know you guys got a lot of that up at Lenore Ryan. But kind of talk about that experience at the Division II level.
Honestly, when you obviously you got the smaller teams that's in your conference, they're not that
Hmm.
good. They need to build up some more. But when you get to those Valdosta States and West Floridas and West Georgia, they're pretty
Yeah.
good. So it's about the same as FCS. The only difference is they don't have the facilities and the money. So that what I
Hmm.
would say would be the big difference between those teams.
Going back to the recruiting process, what was that like for you? We'll start back in high school and then we'll kind of talk about the portal because that seems what everyone wants to talk about nowadays. But going back to the high school process, was it something where you felt like you wanted to take that chance? What were some offers you had and kind of what made Lenore Ryan that perfect fit for you?
Well, coming out of high school, I really didn't have anything. I had JUCO offer, so I went to Hutchinson Community College for
Hmm.
a year. I was already a qualifier, so I just stayed 1 year, played, and started as a freshman at fullback. And then I said I want to hurry up and get out of there, so I took my first offer. It was Lenore Ryan, and I'm a big believer if you're a great player, they'll
Hmm.
find you. So I that's what I did. I went to Lenore Ryan with Coach Cronin. We had a great 2 seasons there for 2018 and 19.
So Coach Cronick, I'm guessing, says, hey, I'm going D1. Did he say, hey, you want to come with me? Or is it one of those things he kind of let you make your own decision?
Honestly, it was just like it's a no-brainer. Like he didn't have to say anything. So like he didn't tell me anything. Just like, hey, that's the best opportunity. I just felt like it was God.
And obviously, listen, Lenore Ryan, you got some great competition. If I'm not mistaken, that 2019 year, y'all played West Florida. I think it was the first round of the playoffs or something like that. I remember watching that game as we were at Valdosta State, waiting to see who was going to come down to Valdosta and play. It was West Florida. The Argos end up winning the national championship. So it's not like you're playing, random competition. Division II, especially in the Southeast, is very, very talented and across the whole country. You make the shift. Now, this is a Mercer program. I've been around for a while. They kind of restarted their program after a very long layoff. They've had this run of consistency where they sit about 5-5 in the conference. You show up, Coach Cronick shows up, and you guys, not just you had some guys that bought in, transfer wise, guys that were already there. Talk about when you got on campus. What was that like from day one under Cronick? You knew what he was like, but just that atmosphere in the locker room throughout the summer workouts and everything.
At first, because they already knew I've been up under his program, so they was asking like, "Does it really work?" Is
Hmm.
the magic really real? The hard work? I said, yes, it really worked when you actually, go through summer workouts and listen to Coach Kronick and the plays that he run. Like it really will pay off.
Hmm.
And they bought in, and they actually made me the captain when I came in after 2 months of training. So that was a great honor. And then they bought in, and man, we had a great season. Had a chance to win a championship.
Let's go into that season. Obviously, you play point, and it was one of those things. You put up these points. I think it's the most amount of points they've scored since they restarted. You go to Alabama, and you touched on this. It was kind of a joking matter because throughout the entire rest of the season, it looked like, listen, hey, Mercer played Alabama. They gave them fits more than other SEC caliber teams did. Walking into that stadium, I guarantee that's probably the biggest crowd you've ever played in front of. Just walk me through that environment to be able to compete against a team that obviously ended up playing in the national championship at the FBS level.
At the time, man, there was no one team. So coming in, we're
Mhm.
fired up, and then when you get to that stadium, it's like a slight pause. It's like, dang, this is amazing environment. The fans going crazy, some of them booing, some of them cheering. So having that atmosphere is great, and we got ready to play. Uh, we came up short, obviously, but man, we scored 14 points, and we
Yeah.
scored more than Miami. They scored
Yep.
13, so we was proud of that.
And two, I remember one drive specifically. Rick and I were on the call in the radio booth, and I think you guys were like in the shadow of your own goalpost for the offense. The student section's right behind you, and I remember talking to Fred Payton after the game. He said, "Man, like he played at Coastal. He said it's unreal. This type of atmosphere." But a lot of the guys, and I think you included, came on our pregame show and said this: it prepared you, win or lose, for what was to play. And the SoCon to me is a conference that continues to rise. Chattanooga was very good this year. Obviously, ETSU, yourself, Mercer, VMI posed a really good challenge. How did that prepare you guys? Because I felt like it was kind of this switch that flipped. You had a bye week, and then you hit Furman, which is not an easy place to win, especially for Mercer. And from then on out, it just kind of felt like you guys had the mentality of said, "Hey, we've got a good group in here, and we know what we're capable of."
Well, main thing, we went back and looked at the film, and we're like, man, we playing against Alabama, and we got through it, and we did a good job. So like,
Mhm.
there can't be nothing worse than Alabama in the SoCon. Like, there's some great players, but
Yeah.
overall, offense, defense, and special teams, we're not going to see anything like that. And if we just go out and be us and not be complacent, we'll be all right. So that's what we did.
Yeah, and we talked about it too. So some of these plays, and especially on offense, that are not working against Alabama, they're going to work against your Chattanoogas, your ETSU's, because I mean, it's fair to say there's teams at the FBS level it doesn't work against Alabama. We saw that on display this season. All right, so you roll into conference play, you have an opportunity, you go up to Johnson City, a hostile environment, and no doubt about it, it was a great. And I know you guys, as kind of these road warriors, y'all took that seriously about winning on the road. That was something that Coach Cronick talked about in his time at Mercer, but also back at Lenoir-Rhyne. That's something you want to be able to do. You want to defend home turf, but winning road games, and especially in conference, helps. That game, obviously, you can look back. It's easy to look back. There's different things you can pick apart, but how do you feel like that sets up for this next generation for Mercer? I mean, you guys came in, you fell just short, but I feel like a foundation was set. This is a new culture, a new era of kind of how Mercer can carry forward.
Yeah, so I think that, like you said, the foundation was built from us, and especially like Connor Krieger, he's been there for like 6 or 7 years. He's an older guy, man. Us bonding with him, it's not just us. All of the
Yeah.
offensive line stuck together. We say, hey, man, we're gonna take this team to another level, and at practice, we're going versus defense, making them better, and listening to Coach Crying. So building that foundation with the older guys, starting with the older guys, and then letting it pass to the younger guys, man, it's a very great thing. So I'm pretty sure in the future, man, it's gonna keep leveling up. It's gonna get scary for Mercer in a good way.
Yeah, and listen, the SoCon is starting to establish itself. A lot of people felt like, including myself, that you had a pretty strong consideration for an at-large bid. Ultimately, that didn't go that way. But for you personally, you talked about it. You made this decision to transfer to Mercer. Obviously, gave you more of a high-profile opportunity to play against and really get some film, not only against Alabama, but pro prospects everywhere within the SoCon. What's the feedback you're hearing now as you kind of enter this phase? Obviously, the Super Bowl just ended, so it's kind of everyone's talking about it's mock draft season and it's undrafted free agent. What are you kind of hearing feedback on your play and kind of your tape so far?
My tape is pretty good. I just have to, after that stuff comes in, you have to get the pro day. So after that, we'll kind of know
Mhm.
where everything's at. You have to have a great pro day. You can't just go in there, and slack around. So after that, they have all the analysts and stuff. But I'm sitting pretty good right now. I just need a shot. So that's the main thing I'm worried about right now.
Need a shot. There's no doubt about it. All right, we got some fun questions for you. So I have some friends that are obviously from the Macon area. We're from the Macon area. So I know you weren't there for a long time. So you got to give me best place to go eat in Macon, Georgia.
Ah, I would probably either say Amici's or the I can't think about the where we go for the game before the game. What's the name of the place?
Oh, see, you caught me. You caught me
Yeah,
slacking right here.
yeah,
I can't remember. I know what you're talking about. It's good. It's
yeah. It's
good.
really good.
It's really
Yes.
good. No, that's good. And listen, Amici's right there next to the stadium. A good hangout, not only for just normal, but after game as well. All right, we got another one for you. Offensively, you guys had a lot of weapons. Fastest on the team. Who is it? And
I would
is it even
say
guy offensively?
I would say Devron.
Ooh.
Devron Harper. Yep.
Oh yeah. And he's listen, those guys they had some speed. I think it was Devron that scored the touchdown, the long one against Alabama that Fred threw to him. Cross field. That was a beautiful one. All right, offensive lineman. Who's the fastest one?
I would say myself. Yes.
Yourself. All right, I
Yes.
got you. I got you. All right, and then back here, I don't want to get you in trouble with this one with anyone that watches this, but who is the most likely you think outside of yourself to kind of take that next step as a leader? I mean, listen, there's a lot of guys along that offensive front. They got a lot of good talent. They got young guys. I think they recruited well, especially for an FCS program. Who do you kind of think is a leader in the making that maybe we don't know yet?
I would say John Thomas. He's a great
Mm,
guy, man. He does everything Coach Cronin says. He listens. Even if I tell him something, man, he's listening. He's going to be next up for sure.
for sure. All right, we got one more for you. What was the biggest memory for Mercer? What was the best one?
Oh, I already got it. It would be beating Chattanooga at home when it was like we don't know who's going to score
Oh
first.
my
Who's going to?
gosh.
It was wild, man.
All right, so I got to explain this because Rick and I joked with Coach Cronic about this. There's a couple plays this season. One, the interception that kicked off of Michael Campbell's back of his foot. I don't know if you remember that one. There was that one.
Yes.
And then Chattanooga game. You kick it off of the guy on the front line. You can't draw that kind of stuff up. Describe to me, first off, the atmosphere was electric inside Five Star for that game. Obviously, a lot of things on the line because you want next week to mean something, but you got to win that game. What was your reaction when you saw the ball go off the Chattanooga guy on the kick return team? Mercer falls on it, and hey, we just got to kneel it one or two times, and this game's over.
Man, I was honestly, I was shocked. My eyes open. I'm like, I was confused because I'm waiting for the defense to go get a stop. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You expect them to get a stop, and do that, and it's like, dang, we back on offense, and they're like, what's going on? So it happened so fast, and we get out there, so we like, hey, we gotta take a knee, man. Get a couple drives and take a knee. We're good. So
It's
it
one of those
just
things
felt
you better
good,
find your
man.
helmet quickly. Find your helmet quickly.
It's
Get back on the field for sure. Listen, what advice would you give? A guy that maybe he's a tweener, maybe he's got some D3, and we talk with this, especially in the recruiting world. I'm a big proponent. Go where you can play. That's what matters. Is go where you can get playing time. So, what advice would you give a guy that's trying to make that decision, whether it's through the portal or it's kind of maybe it's from the high school to college ranks?
I would tell them to stick it out, man. And God has perfect time, and you never know what can happen. Just and it's never too late. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
would tell them because in high school I started playing around 11th grade, so I was a late bloomer. So and I had to go to JUCO. It's not what I wanted. Everybody want to go to Alabama, Georgia, Kennesaw State, wherever it's at. But I didn't get to do that, so I had to write my own path. So that's what I would tell them, the young guys, just stick with it and stay focused, and trust God.
All right, last question for you. If he's not playing in the NFL, where is Jason Poe in the next 5 to 10 years? What you going to do?
I would say somewhere in the office with computer science, my degree, or either coaching. It's out of
Either
those two.
coaching. All right.
Yep.
So could we see you? Let's just say, hey, I hope you made the NFL. I hope you have a long career. But if not, could we see you back on the Mercer sideline, maybe under Coach Cronic somewhere?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Jason, we appreciate it, man. Listen, best of luck to you. I know this is an awesome process. It can be a frustrating one, a stressful one. Best of luck to you. When is pro day for you, and kind of what is the next schedule of events?
Right now, we're trying to get it situated. I'm planning on doing 2 pro days. So I'm going to do one at Georgia and then one at Mercer.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, listen,
Yep.
we appreciate the time. Best of luck to you. I know all of the Mercer family was really excited to have you on board this year. I can't tell you how many times someone's came to me and said, "So this guy, the freak of nature, that's what they call him." I said, "Yes, somebody put him on a list somewhere, but it's a big man that can move for sure." Too bad we didn't get to see you line up at fullback any. I know that they don't really run that formation, but how many times did you try to beckon for an opportunity to run the football?
No, actually, at I didn't run it, but at Citadel, I was back
That's
there
true,
like 4 times. Yep, yep.
but they didn't. They didn't never called your number.
No, they want me to knock somebody out.
All right, Jason. Listen, man, you have a good one. We appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate